Hi everyone, Tony from Hack the Movies here, and today we're going to talk about The Mummy Returns, the sequel to The Mummy, and we're going to try to decide, is The Mummy Returns a good sequel, or is it crap? Let's find out.
Talking about tapes.
Hello, Kira.
Hello.
Welcome back.
Thank you.
As a normal person, not a vampire this time, or a Ghostbuster, you're just a normal person.
I thought about dressing up. I did.
In the full body paint, like, what's her, Patricia Vasquez? God, what just fell? What just fell? We're off to a great start. I'm already breaking the set. So you love The Mummy. You made it very clear, and you did not know that me, Johanna, and other have reviewed The Mummy already.
Right.
And you were very upset by that. So I was like, you know what? I'll bring you back for The Mummy Returns.
Thank you.
Now, since you weren't in the first episode, when did you first see the first Mummy, and why do you love it so much?
I don't know when. I mean, probably like when it first came out.
Like in the theater?
Yeah.
No.
But I loved it so much. For one, like every character in the film was hot. They're on.
We mentioned it. It's a very good looking cast.
Yeah. Everyone's like on screen chemistry is like amazing.
Yeah.
And you know, Brendan Fraser, he's like a treasure. So
Isn't it Fraser?
Fraser?
I don't know. I say Fraser all the time. I'm not going to give you too much crap for that. Yes. And the Mummy really has become like this big like meme thing now too.
Yeah.
Like with big meme groups. People love mummy posting.
Mm-hmm.
I'm shocked they haven't brought it. Well, not counting that whatever that Tom Cruise one was. I'm shocked they haven't tried to revive this version of the Mummy at any point.
I don't think they can. I think people would be so out. I mean, but they've tried still. But they would be so outraged.
It's too late now to continue like this series of the Mummy.
Yeah. I mean, they tried. Didn't they try? Well, yeah.
Well, we can get into some of that stuff. So the Mummy 1 comes out, big hit. Everyone loves it.
Right.
You're watching it in the theater. It's probably an awakening for all of us. It definitely was for Johanna, according to her. Oh, some of you are probably wondering, why is Johanna not in this? She was in the first one, the first review.
Right.
Well, Johanna had a very unfortunate situation happen.
What?
Well, I told her, I said, Johanna, you're not trusting the experts and you're not following the science and you need to be more cautious. And she said, no, Tony, I'll do whatever I want. You can't stop me. And I said, there are laws against this. She's like, the government's not going to tell me what to do. And I was like, Johanna, please, I'm worried for your well-being. And she said, my hands, my choice. And she blew herself up with a firework.
Oh, I didn't think that's where you were taking that, but okay.
Where would you think I was taking it? Clearly, the 4th of July just passed.
Right.
And she was playing around with fireworks, and I kept telling her how dangerous they were. So she's in a burn ward right now.
Oh, no. Do you know what it was?
She looks like a mummy.
That's not funny.
So, I don't know. Maybe we could use some magic later to resurrect her, but
we can try.
Right now, she's...
I might still have some like vampire juice in me.
She's currently comatose in the burn ward. But yeah, so 2001 comes around. The Mummy Returns.
Yes.
Good title. It reminds you of the classic horror films where they're like, it was always something like that. The Bride of Frankenstein, Dracula's Daughter, the Return of the whatever, the Creature from Black Lagoon Returns. I think that's one of them. That's
what I like. It's like very camp in its own way.
Yes.
But they do it so well.
Yes. And again, this is in the era where there were still, Indiana Jones had been gone for the 90s, and they were still trying to replace Indiana Jones, and this was the closest we got.
Okay.
They tried with Tomb Raider. Yeah. I liked Angelina Jolie's Tomb Raider, but then that came out the same year as this.
The only thing about that movie that I didn't like is that she like didn't lock the butler in the freezer.
Well, that was a big problem.
Yeah.
That was a big problem. Yeah. I got the movie and I threw it in the trash.
Good.
No, I'm kidding. I liked the first Tomb Raider. It was one of the first talk about tapes I did.
Okay.
But yeah, so this is definitely that same era where it's like, we haven't replaced Indiana Jones yet. We got to keep trying. And Universal's like, this is kind of working. We have it. Just Rick O'Connell. Everyone loves him.
Yeah.
And they brought it back the summer 2001. Did you see this in theaters?
The Mummy Returns? No, I don't think so.
I didn't either.
No, I don't think.
For whatever reason, my parents or family didn't take me. and I just didn't get around to seeing it. Like summer of 2001, I saw like Jurassic Park 3, and like I saw movies. Somehow I missed The Mummy Returns.
Jurassic Park 3, is that the one when like Jeff Goldblum had the black daughter?
No, that's the second one.
Okay. Love that. I was like, oh, he likes a little. All right.
By the way, I cut this out of the Jurassic Park episode, but I'll mention it here. Jurassic Park fans and like Facebook groups and stuff, anytime there's a black character in a new movie, they all assume it's Kelly Malcolm.
Oh, okay.
The new movie's been out for weeks, and someone was like, there's like a black lady pilot, and they're like, I thought she was gonna be Ian Malcolm's daughter. And like every single time, like someone eventually will come in and be like, you know,
there can be other black people.
There's other black people. I don't know if you know this, but they're not all related.
Or they could be like a descendant of the dude that, the black dude that worked at the park.
Oh, Samuel Jackson. Someone else. There's a black guy in the movie, and everyone's like, I thought he was going to be his son. And I think we mentioned it in the episode. We're like, I'm glad they didn't do that. Not everyone's got to be related.
Yeah.
Like, that's a Star Wars problem. Everyone needs to be related. Anyway. No, Jurassic Park 3 was the one with the Spinosaurus, and Sam Neill came back for that one.
Right, okay.
So big summer for movies, summer 2001, really great summer before everything went to shit and ruined all our lives. Yeah, so I eventually got it on DVD.
Okay.
Well, actually, no, I rented it.
Okay.
And then my mom came home with this 2-disc collector's edition. Look at this.
Is this yours?
Yes, it looks like the book.
No way, and it's got the little key on there?
Yeah.
Wow, that's cool.
Yes.
That's really cool. I'm going to steal this later. Oh, I do remember. Oh, so maybe I saw.
Yeah.
Oh, interesting. Okay.
So, yeah, I remember watching this.
Yeah.
Hold on.
How dare you?
Hello, Mom. I'm filming. I was actually just talking about you.
Okay, I think I have a trailer for you to film it.
Okay.
I'll take you to the site after I come back from Florida.
All right, we'll check out that trailer together. I was just talking about how you came home one day with the Mummy 2-disc collector's edition. And as soon as I got done talking about that, you called, so that was weird.
See?
Okay. Okay, we'll check out the trailer for the movie. Bye.
Bye.
That's the power of the mummy.
Did you know I was making a movie?
No.
I'll update people about it later on.
Okay.
So yeah, I remember watching it. I was real hyped to see this because The Rock was in it.
Yeah.
And I recently just got back into wrestling. It was like 2001, so we're still in the Attitude Era. I think Stone Cold, he's not retired yet, but he's like in or out at this point.
Okay.
But yeah, The Rock was like hyping up this movie because this is his like big movie. Because before this, he did what?
Was it still like WWF at that point?
Yes.
Or? Okay.
Yes. Well, before this, he did guest spot on Star Trek Voyager. He was a wrestling Vulcan.
Okay.
Yeah, they go to some, I don't know, space station where there's wrestling, and he's a Vulcan. So yeah, he was hyping up his appearance as the Scorpion King in this, and they really hyped it up that he was going to be like the big bad guy, but also the Mummy was coming back.
Okay.
So I remember watching it and going, this movie's good. But I was also 10, 11.
Then biased.
I guess biased because The Rock was in it.
Yeah.
Actually, yeah, so I guess we'll get right into Stephen Sommers' The Mummy Returns.
Okay.
So speaking of The Rock, we get the whole prologue about the Scorpion King.
A fierce warrior known as the Scorpion King led a great army on a campaign to conquer the known world.
Was that narrated by Oded Fair?
Yes, it was.
It was. I
How
was
could
like,
you not
it
tell?
sounds
It's
like
his
him.
voice. He
Okay.
narrated the first one.
Cool.
He's one of those voices, anytime I hear anything, I'm like, oh, yeah, that's Oded Fair.
Yeah.
He shows up a lot of like DC animated stuff.
Does he?
Yeah, he did in the Justice League cartoons from when we were like in high school, he did Dr. Fate's voice in those. Yeah, so we find out the Scorpion King was at war with a bunch of people, and he does this battle cry, Aku Machente.
Aku Machente!
And I remember this vividly because on an episode of Monday Night Raw, he was cutting a promo with another wrestler. He's like, in my new movie, The Rock, the Scorpion King, I have this line that says Aku Machente, and it means blah, blah, blah.
In his new movie, The Rock?
No, in his new movie,
I knew you.
The Mummy Returns.
Aku Machente! Do you remember that? Do you have any idea what that means?
It means the Scorpion King got a tiny ding-a-ling.
So I remember he worked this line into a wrestling promo,
Oh,
so that's why
wow.
it sticks out.
And you were like, I gotta see it.
Yes, and yes, I was like, I need to see this movie.
Okay.
So he's kicking ass. but he doesn't win.
No, right. And that's why he makes a deal with Anubis.
Anubis, the dog god of death, who we know from the first movie is the god of death because he had that whole city.
Who's also like fucking fine. No, that's furry territory. Let me leave that alone. I'm sorry.
You're allowed to be a furry. You're allowed to be
I'm not a furry.
Is the zombie
Openly.
furry? The zombie part's a little worrying
He's
because
hot, though.
all of Anubis's soldiers are like zombified dogs.
he's like built like a male model.
Well, we
with a
never
dog's
see
head.
Anubis. The dogs kind of look like what we imagine Anubis to look like.
Yeah.
But maybe he looks cooler. We don't know.
Well, I mean, Anubis's portrayal in general is
Yes.
like always like this
Yeah.
bulky dude. Yeah.
We talked about this in the Northman episode.
Him and Bastet. She's hot too. But anyway.
In the Northman episode, we were talking about how, like, in that movie, like, the Vikings and whatnot, they're, like, dressing up as dogs. It's
Yeah.
like, I feel like for centuries, men have just been wanting to dress up like dogs
Yeah.
and be dog people. And now it's, like, accepted. And it's like, oh, I could just do it. I don't have to go to war. Before it was like, well, we got to do this for war. And
Right.
it's like, well, now we can just do it. It's fine. Yeah, so he is defeated. He's able to beat his army.
Right.
But then Anubis is like, you're mine now.
Mm-hmm.
Which did he not know that was going to happen?
I mean, I guess this goes back to, Interview with a Vampire, where there should be pamphlets.
There really
Maybe
should.
it wasn't discussed that I'm taking you
Because
after
I'm
this.
guessing The Rock was like, all right, you eventually get my soul. That's fine.
Yeah.
But he didn't read the fine print. It's like, he can get your soul at any time. So
Yeah.
it's like, well, I just beat up all these people and now I don't get to enjoy it.
No.
But, if you want to know more about the Scorpion King and his backstory, luckily, they made 5 movies. 5 of them. I haven't seen the last 2 yet.
Okay.
And you bet, oh God, Lou Ferrigno's in 4. You bet that I'm bringing Kira back and we're going to do worst Scorpion King movie.
Yay.
So keep in mind, this movie is trying to franchise.
Okay.
They want to make these Scorpion King spin-offs.
Trying or tried?
Succeeded, I guess, because they did make Scorpion King spin-offs.
That's fair.
They did make a ride in Universal Studios, the Mummy roller
There was
coaster.
a ride. Oh, I thought you meant for like Scorpion King specifically.
No.
Okay.
For The Mummy Returns, there's a ride, and I remember being, I might have
recall
mentioned
that.
this in the first one, I remember being really mad because they got rid of the King Kong ride for
Right.
it. I'm like, I love the King Kong ride. Stupid mummy. And then I got on it and I'm like, this ride's awesome. like when the big mummy face screamed at me, I got scared. I'm like, I miss King Kong, but this ride's good too. And they did the cartoon. Where every week the mummy Imhotep, who was purple, I think, would try to fight the O'Connells. So this is like, the first one was like a hit. They're like, all right, now we need to do this to launch a franchise. And
Right.
it had hits and misses.
Okay.
So yes, he is now dead. We get to the future. Rick and Evie now have a kid, Alex.
Right. That is so annoying. I don't know why, but I didn't like it.
You didn't like that they had a kid?
No.
Yeah. Yeah, that's the thing.
Hashtag fuck them kids, you know. I was like, oh, that's
You
fine,
know what?
I guess.
I will say, it is their chemistry. Like, they look like a happily married couple and they seem like they're having fun. It's not as fun to watch this time around. And now I'm realizing, like, oh, that's why they always give these guy adventurers new girls every movie.
Yeah.
Because you want to see, like, well, how's
If they
James?
progress, it's like, well, I guess they'll have a child.
Yeah, no, I want the hero to get like a new chick every time. And by the way,
Like-
for a female hero
like
too.
Bond?
Yes. And Indiana Jones.
Yeah.
He had a new girl each movie.
Yeah.
And like if the Angelina Jolie thing would have turned into a franchise, I would have wanted her to get a new guy each movie.
And she did for the
Well, they only did 2.
Yeah,
But this is a case where I'm like, okay, well, it's not as fun to watch now because like them butting heads. And
Yeah.
will they, won't they? That was kind of fun.
Yeah.
And I'm like, should have had a new lady.
And it's like they did. And not only did they,
But yeah, she's a badass now. She sees
Yeah.
a snake and she just kicks it across the
yeah,
room.
she's like, get out of here, you. Also, like, why are they bringing their child on these
Plot convenience.
expeditions?
Plot convenience.
Child endangerment.
Child endangerment. Yeah, so they unlock a tomb full of scorpions because this movie's not subtle. And Evie, what was that?
Before that,
Oh,
there's a scene when like Rick is walking down the hallway and he's like, scoping everything out, and he turns and the kid's right there. And when Was he on a why were you face to face with the child?
I
And when
listened
did he-
to the director's, like the filmmaker's commentary, and they make fun of that.
They do?
Oh, the commentary for both movies, Steven Sommer and like the people he made the movie with, they'll point out all their mistakes and all the stuff and they're laughing about it the entire time. And
he
they
doesn't
joke
look down.
They
He's
joke
like-
about how he's level with the
Yeah,
kid.
and I'm like, is he on a platform? And when would he have moved quietly
there is
enough?
something ridiculous coming up that,
All right.
that they pointed out. Now I
Okay.
can't not see it.
Okay.
So Evie's been having dreams
Right. She's
about
been having
this-
visions.
of this tomb. And she's like, okay, I need to go to this tomb to figure out what my dreams mean. And she wanders into a flashback for like a second.
Yeah, and she starts waving
Oh,
like
yeah.
it's an Etch-a-Sketch.
Because she
It'll
went like
make it
this and
happen.
it changed. And
Yeah.
she's like- so bad guys show up to attack the temple.
Mm-hmm.
This is a very smooth transition. We didn't stop recording for a few minutes. And I forget why are they there to stop? I guess there's there
Because they want to loot and also like they just want to cause trouble for the O'Connells, I guess. Because they
That and-
specifically say something about the O'Connells.
and I think they're supposed to get the amulet.
Yeah,
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Which Evie finds. Well, no.
they're tossing
Yeah, they
around
do.
like pots and stuff, and they're like trash. And I'm like, the museums are crying.
And the guy thinks everything's cursed, which is like a running gag.
Yes.
This place is cursed.
I love his character.
Yeah,
It's
and-
cursed.
and
Is that
Alex is
reason?
like hitting them with like a what you call it,
slingshot? Mm-hmm.
Yeah, you're right. I don't like
The
it.
one guy.
I don't like kids in this.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's.
He could have not done that.
I don't understand why they always feel the need to like shoehorn a kid in some of these sequels. Like you've seen the Antonio Banderas Zorro, right?
Yeah.
Great movie.
Mm-hmm.
Great movie. They did a sequel in like 2005.
And gave him a child.
And they gave him a kid. And that was another thing. It's like, well, now him and Catherine Zeta-Jones, they were like happily, and I'm like, no, that's not as fun. Yeah, so I don't like when they do that, but I guess it's fine for now.
He says like Jacques is gonna make a nice fillet out of you.
Wait, you
And
said Jacques? You mean Jacques?
Oh,
think it's just
I wrote
Jacques.
Jacques. Well, I told you I couldn't hear it. I had to put the subtitles on.
Oh, yeah.
It's been a long time.
We talked about it before we recorded, but so what happened? Someone was like cutting something.
Someone was cutting grass right outside of my window, like they had a weed whacker going. So
And I
I looked at the.
I watched it this morning while they were doing construction on my roof. So I'm like watching the movie and I'm cheering bang, 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 bang.
But
I've
yeah,
seen it before.
he says that, and I was like, oh, he's gonna go on to be, a very celebrated forensic scientist.
But yes, there's a fun, exciting action scene here where they like flood the tunnel and they almost drown. And then what you call it? Alex knocks over the pillars the same way his mom knocked over the library books.
that
I'm like, all right, that's
callback.
kinda
That was
funny.
cute. Yeah.
That was kind of funny. He saves them. But yeah, so they get the chest that they found in the room.
They do.
Yes. And then meanwhile, elsewhere at the City of the Dead, Hamunaptra, we get a woman who looks exactly like Anck Namun.
Right. Patricia from
Vasquez, yes.
from Mindhunters, right?
I believe so.
I love that movie.
Not Egyptian.
No, she is Latina, right?
No.
Yeah. I did not realize that until literally like a year or two ago.
Pretty problematic. That's all I'm saying. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah. I mean, I feel like she's, she's done her time. She died from like acid on a cigarette and Mindhunters, so like it's fair. She can.
I'm sorry, I missed Mindhunter. Sorry.
What?
I missed it. I didn't see it.
Well,
Thanks for spoiling it.
you'll be all right.
But yeah, she is digging up Hamunaptra.
Right.
And she's there with Mr. Echo from Lost.
I didn't watch Lost.
Yeah. Well, he's out a wild day.
Is that the guy that was a priest? The
No.
Okay.
This is the black guy. Maybe the
Oh,
only
the
black
African guy.
Egyptian.
Oh, yeah, the one that I was excited about that I
Maybe the-
said I could play.
Okay, that's the one you were referring to.
That's who I could have
I was
dressed
thinking
as.
of Izzy. I forgot about
Oh, not
her.
Izzy, no.
Not a lot of black Egyptians in this movie.
No, that's why I was saying he's African.
Where do you stand on that?
I mean,
Because
not all Egyptians are black. Like,
Yeah,
there's-
that's the thing. Historians are like, well, yeah, they were dark skinned, but I don't
Yeah,
think
some are like closer to, I guess, like what would be I don't know the proper. I don't want to
Like
get
Middle
canceled.
Eastern
Like a Middle
almost,
Eastern look, and some are more.
well, it's kind of like It's like the opposite of like
There's like a specific
Italy.
term
Like, my
for it.
dad's Southern Italian, so he's like very
So you're black.
skinned. Yes.
Right.
Which I was listening to another podcast where they were referring, like apparently people used to consider Southern Italians like North Africans.
They did.
But then Northern Italy, they're like by the Swiss Alps, they're like super
Yeah,
white.
exactly. But yeah, like that. So they vary in color. So like,
So you don't agree with the black Israelites that everyone was black in the
no,
past? Okay.
no. I think just like America or any other place,
Yeah.
there's various
A
shades.
lot of people came in. Have you seen the one video of them? I think it was like BBC or someone was interviewing one of those guys.
No.
And the guy just starts spitballing famous people from history, and the
my
guy's
God.
like, "Yes, black," and he says,
I've seen posts online like Abraham Lincoln was black.
Yes, he goes. The guy goes William Shakespeare, and the dude pauses and goes,
Undoubtedly black, without question.
Abraham Lincoln.
That's still in debate.
Oh, I watched a documentary. William Shakespeare may not have even done his works, but moving along from that.
Moving on.
Also, on that note, not William Shakespeare. I do not, however, think that no, they weren't looking like Tom Cruise.
no. Well,
But
Tom Cruise was not Egyptian.
like
in
that movie they
one.
did with the Egyptians, and it's like Angelina Jolie, and like I'm like,
Oh, you're thinking Alexander.
Oh yeah. I'm like, you gotta find a happy medium, you know?
Yes. I feel like this movie has a happy medium.
I agree, 100%. Yeah.
My whole thing is like, all right, well, do you look the part? Then I'm fine with it. You know how many people play Italians who are not Italian? Anyway, so she's digging up, she's got both books now.
Right. The Book of the Dead and Book of Life.
They accidentally dig up all the Beatles.
The scarabs. I remember I see posts online about I had this fear for a long time of quicksand. I thought I'd encounter it a lot more.
Yeah.
I thought that I would encounter scarabs a lot more in life. It's way late in life
The
when I
only
realized
Beatles that
they
look
don't.
like that here are like this big.
Yeah, and they don't eat flesh, I mean, unless you're dead, maybe. But
Maybe.
Yeah, but I thought that would be a lot more of an issue in my life. So that was horrifying.
The mythical giant scarabs.
Yeah, yes. When I would see someone wearing a necklace, I'm like, all right.
So yeah, they managed to find Imhotep.
It's not Imhotep?
Thank you. I said Imhotep.
It's Imhotep. Don't they say in the first movie they're chanting Imhotep?
I
right?
guess it's just when they're doing their zombie chant, but it's apparently Imhotep.
So in zombie chants, people don't use the right inflection?
I guess so.
Okay.
But I kept saying Imhotep, and everyone made fun of me. And then the same guy, I didn't have it, but
take
the
it
same
back.
guy who drew this, my mummy cup,
That looks nice.
he drew Imhotep. So it's Imhotep, but with the hair.
Yeah.
I'm like, that's fucking hilarious.
So Imhotep. Okay, good to know.
Yes. I won't yell at you if you say Imhotep. That's
I'm not
fine.
now,
Just
though.
don't say Jacques.
I'm now going to say it for the rest of the review.
So yes, they find his body. They're very happy. And we get to a shot of London where all the landmarks are super close together. It's like Big Ben, the bridge, and the filmmakers were making fun of it. They were like, yeah.
When I was a child, it made sense.
And they were like, I don't know, it seemed kind of fun. Like, it should be laid out like that. And they kept poking fun at Roger Ebert.
Is the Liberty Bell not right next to
Well, not Liberty Bell.
the Statue of Liberty? I mean,
Oh, yeah, that's right. Yeah. So they were making fun of it because apparently Roger Ebert was real annoyed by that. And they're like, yeah, whatever. We're not geography.
It still looked like, I thought the whole movie had a great set.
Yeah,
I
and
thought
also
it
it's
looked
like a
nice
fantasy,
regardless.
whatever. It's a
Yeah.
good way to tell idiots where London is. So Rick and Evie, he's trying to warn her, hey, could you not fuck things up again? Because you
Right.
did that before, and we
Right.
had to deal with the mummy.
Right.
I guess we found true love out of it, but I would rather not deal with a mummy.
When he says, not to throw back, but in the hallway, when he says, the kid's oh, what do you think that's a mummy? You guys haven't told him? He's 8 years old. You're taking him on these expeditions, and you haven't told him that this exists and
Yeah,
that you've battled it.
By the way, son, there might be a mummy.
He's.
By the way, son,
along.
do you know how we forged such a giant mansion? It's because we
Right.
stole some loot from
Oh
a
my
mummy.
God, yeah.
Which apparently the giant mansion, they were filming this the same time as Gladiator.
Oh, okay.
And I guess Steven Sommers and Ridley Scott were dealing with the same producer or something. So it was at Ridley Scott's offices, him and Tony Scott. And apparently they did this thing for hey, I don't know. They never say what favor they did for Gladiator, but like Ridley Scott did a favor for Ridley Scott did a favor and let them use this really nice mansion set that they have. I'm like, that's a really nice looking place.
Yeah. It was gorgeous.
Yeah, and who's in there? Jonathan.
My boy Jonathan.
Who would have thought the scepter that is like stolen? Well, remember they don't even realize they have the loot at the end of the old one because it was Benny. By the way, they couldn't give us a skeleton of Benny at the dig site.
No. We respect Benny too much for that.
I love Benny.
He's a weasel, but come on.
I love Benny. I wanted just a skeleton of Benny, like, so he's there with the scepter, and who would have known that it becomes a major plot point in this movie?
Jonathan is, I have right here in my notes, our boy Jonathan enters the scene with a gold digger, but he's getting laid by any means necessary. I respect it.
He's bragging about how it's his house.
Yeah. And she's like, oh yeah, like you're so cool and rich. Did I mention rich?
And then, I love when they walk in and the bad guys are there. He's like, I must be in the wrong house. She's like, I thought this was your house.
He's like, no.
But I like that they think he's Rick because I guess they don't know what Rick looks like.
Yeah. They just know, like, they're like O'Connell, and he's like,
it is funny when Rick walks in. He's like, what's going on?
Right.
Hello? Jonathan, I thought I said no more wild parties.
And apparently in this time, Rick has become the master of catching things and throwing them back. Because he catches the snake and throws it back. And then he catches the knife and then throws it back. It's like, when did he develop this skill?
And she threatens him with the asp. Which, fun fact, was it Cleopatra that was bitten by an asp?
That's the story. She tempted a snake and had it bite her to kill herself. Who knows if it's real? Probably a lie.
On her.
I don't know if they specifically say where, and you can't prove it because
I think they do.
I don't know if you know this, but breasts are not in the fossil record. They dissolve. And can you trust anyone who wrote it down? They could have been making it up.
I mean, that's a good story, though.
Yeah. She probably just got lost and fell off a rock, and they were like, that's not an exciting story.
She got bitten by an asp.
So they're getting, while this is happening, the kid puts the amulet on.
He
like
gets
an
it
idiot.
stuck. Yeah, the bracelet. He gets it stuck on his arm.
And we see the Pyramids of Giza because this movie has Egypt in it.
Right.
And you have to show the Pyramids of Giza.
Right. And my husband comes on screen. Oded Fair.
Oh, Oded Fair is your husband now.
All of them are, really. I'm actually engaged to everyone.
I didn't know that
in
they were
this cast.
polygamous, but okay.
Yes.
I
all
hope
in a
it's
very
legal
loving, open marriage.
I hope it's legal in whatever country they're in. So he shows up to the rescue.
Yeah, to help Evie.
He's taking them all out. Let me see here. There's a nice Texas switch. Do you know what the Texas switch is?
No, what's a Texas switch?
Actually, there was one in the first one with Benny, but they do it again in this.
Okay.
So Rick and Jonathan jump out the window.
Right.
And then they roll off the roof and they fall. So those are stuntmen. And what the Texas switch is, a stuntman like jumps and does a stunt and rolls out of frame, and then the real actors pop up.
Right.
Because they did it in westerns all the time.
Right.
So that's what they call Texas switch. I'm like, that's a very good one. I'm like, both movies have both really good Texas switches.
Because I didn't notice.
Yeah.
Also, we didn't mention Evie.
Yeah.
Says that the Scorpion King. Oh, sorry. The Scorpion King comes back once every 5,000 years. And just so you know, we missed him by like 172.
Oh, darn.
Unfortunately. So
darn. Well, now we'll never get a chance because they kill him.
I mean, he would have been like resurrected at a shitty time, you know? It's like Cold War, civil rights.
That's true.
And maybe Chuck Berry was the Scorpion
King. What I want to know is, when did he become a bad guy? Because it's very for me, it's very clear.
I was wondering that from the, like, if you've seen but I wouldn't know if we could talk about it since we haven't talked about this. If you've seen the Scorpion King, he was like this really great like anti-hero.
Yeah.
So for him to go total villain and like sell his soul to Anubis was really weird.
And I'm watching these. By the way, he gets whiter as these movies go on. And the most recent one actually came out. I think after the reboot came, so even though they were rebooting the Mummy, they were still making follow-ups to this Mummy.
Yeah.
But yeah, was it Zach McGowan plays him in the last one? So I haven't got up to the last one. I don't know if they finally
They
get
literally
to
switched the actor.
they switched the actor 3 times.
Oh boy. Okay.
It's The Rock, and then they do a prequel with a younger Filipino guy.
Okay.
And then 3 and 4, I think, is a Canadian guy, and then the last one is the Zach McGowan dude.
All right.
Yeah, Scorpion King. He changes a lot.
All right. Equal rights, equal fights.
Everyone that I saw, he was a good guy. So I'm like, well, when does he become this war-hungry monster? I need to know.
Just sells his soul to win. I don't know.
But you know what? When we come back and do Worst Scorpion King, I'm sure we'll learn when it all went wrong.
Yeah, I guess so.
So they kidnap Evie and they take off after her.
By the way, oh my God, is her Patricia?
Yeah.
She is amazing at playing a bitch.
She is really.
It is so believable. It's so
Her
good.
character's kind of confused. It's like, all right, so when did you find out you were the reincarnation?
I put that in my notes.
of Namun?
I literally said like, yeah, why? Where is it? Oh my God. Yeah, it's far in here probably. But like, when did she figure this out?
Yeah.
In her life? Was it when she was a child, or was it she was like at campus her senior year and just like, oh shit, I need to be fucking this mummy guy?
You know, I've seen a lot of people who have thought that they are reincarnations of other people.
Yeah.
And what they all have in common is they're on the street and they haven't showered in 2 years. And
I
they're
dated
also
a guy that thought he was a reincarnation of Deadpool.
of a fictional character who can't technically die because he has immortality. Or did you mean
no.
Wait, did you mean the Deadpool, the Dirty Harry sequel with Jim Carrey?
That's awfully forgiving, but no.
Well,
he was a nut job.
Well.
But anyway.
You know, you and Patricia's character in this, you might have bad taste in men.
Yeah, but she was amazing and I wanted her to step on me. You know? It was really good.
But yeah, so they had this thing which is stupid. So suddenly Rick O'Connell has a tattoo that he never had.
Yeah, I was wondering, did he have that in the first movie and I missed it?
I think he had that like Egyptian eye tattoo.
Right, but not it was on his like wrist or something, or
yeah, it was like on his wrist. They added a new tattoo. And he's like,
okay.
He's like, oh, they put this on me in an orphanage. He's like, you're a warrior of God. I'm a Jai. It's like, oh, okay.
Yeah.
And then they find out. I do like when the kid's like, I put the bracelet on. What's his face? Ardeth is like, you started a chain reaction that will end the world. He's like, oh, Jesus.
You, lighten up. You, big trouble. You, get in the car.
Also, the kid, does he know anything about his, like, he doesn't know they defeated a mummy.
No.
He's like, when the fight starts, he's like, yeah, he tells her to call. Oh yeah, he's like, call for dad. Do you not know that your mom is a BAMF? Like,
he doesn't know.
I guess not. He doesn't know anything.
And we learned that the mummy wants to use the Scorpion King's army. He's
Right.
gonna kill the He's gonna resurrect the Scorpion King, kill the Scorpion King, and take his army to rule the world.
Right.
And then the director's commentary pointed something out that I will never not see now. So every time they're in a building or in a car at night, it's raining nonstop outside. Whenever they're outside, the rain is gone.
Right. I didn't notice that.
They pointed out, and they're like, yeah, you know, we just didn't want to wet people's hair. And it's like, well, don't have rain in the other shots, because now I'm looking at him like, why is it only raining sometimes?
Well, okay, so did they explain that? Or
no, they just said like, oh, we thought about it. We're like, oh, we don't want rain on the hair, but we want rain on some of the scenes. It's like you idiot.
So
like,
we'll choose the car scenes.
It's like, just pick one. You can't, because I think when they're in the bus, it might be raining outside the bus.
Yeah, they played like the name game, and like when they were in the house, did you notice that they were like, he's like, Rick, Evie.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, like, and they did that for like a solid minute.
It's like the scene in Rocky Horror Picture Show where it just keeps going on.
Like,
Rocky.
Also, why are they reincarnated like looking exactly like they used to look? Like, what if Anck
Namun
was like reincarnated in Jonathan's body?
That's true.
Wow, would
That's true.
Imhotep have felt about
Would
that?
Imhotep be like,
Maybe not. It's fine.
I'm going to go back to sleep.
Yeah.
I'm going to go back to sleep. Wake me up later. Wake me up later.
It's okay.
I'm going to go back to sleep. So they resurrect the mummy.
Yeah.
And for some reason, this chick is like, I'm totally fine that you're going to basically kill me and swap me out with your ex-girlfriend.
Yes. Oh my God. She's like,
Not even like our souls were merged. It's like, no, I'm just going to replace you. And she's like, cool, I'm fine with that.
yeah, she says
I'm
like,
property.
but he basically says that's nice, but nah.
Yeah.
Cause like, I don't understand what that was about. Cause she clearly had an affection for him anyway and
Yeah.
remembered these things.
Yeah. Just haven't. She's already resurrected. Like, hey,
She was like simping for him. So why like,
I don't know.
he's like, no, I want my girlfriend.
Yeah.
You're not that great.
It is kind of weird. So they, while they're resurrecting him, just other mummies in the museum come to life and they just leave them. I'm
Yeah.
like, well,
Good
are
luck,
they
guys.
a problem? Like, are they under his spell or are they just
Not
coming up?
our problem, is what they said.
But this leads to a big shootout.
Right.
There's a lot of flammable chemicals in the museum of whatever.
And he's using the Thompson. I had to look that up. I'm like, duh, Tommy gun.
And this leads to a very exciting chase
Yeah.
with the warrior mummies because everyone loved them from the first one. And the double-decker bus.
Yeah, I liked. Oh, yes, the double-decker bus. That was so
And
good.
here's the thing. The CG in this movie, it hit and miss.
Don't be
And
disrespectful.
it is very, very obvious when the mummies
I mean,
are
yes,
guys
it's
in rubber
terrible, but
suits.
it's camp. It's like, that's the point.
Yeah, but the first one's CG. Like, even if it was a little rough at times, it was mostly good. Here, they're trying
A little
to,
more believable.
Yes, they're trying to do way too much with this. And it's just like, you're starting to notice the scene. Them cutting to the bad. The thing is, like, it cuts to, like, bad looking rubber costumes
Yeah.
and then bad looking CGI. It's like, well, can we have something that looks consistently good?
Did they mention in the director's cut about like the bracelet? Because they mentioned like, oh, like it's on your wrist. Like, so now we have, I think Odette's character was like, oh, like we have 7 days.
That comes later.
Insert Sadako, but like,
No, I think the mummy tells him later that he's going to die in 7 days. I don't think they know.
oh, I thought Odette mentioned it.
No.
Oh no, it was the mummy.
Yeah,
Oh, you're
it's the
right. You're
mummy
right.
later on.
And he says, but like, but I thought that he was gonna come anyway, because that's what Evie said, that he like resurrects every 5,000 years. So
Well, I
like
think
regardless
you
of the
have to
bracelet.
be there with the bracelet. You can only do it every 5,000 years.
Oh, okay.
But anyway, this chase is very fun, even though you can kind of see the seams with the mummies.
Yeah.
I do like the one that they split in half, and then he grows Freddy Krueger claws
Yeah.
and is attacking them. The
The
last
double
one-
decker bus scene reminded me of Harry Potter. I think it was Deathly Hallows when they had the double decker scene with the shrunken
I
head.
can't remember the sequels.
How dare you?
I watched them all once each.
Okay. How
And
many
I was-
times have you seen The Mummy?
I've seen a lot. Compared to Harry Potter, I've seen it a lot.
Okay.
So the last mummy that dies, I swear when he looks at the camera, I could see like the stuntman's tongue.
Yeah.
Like I swear I can see it. Like it's red. I'm like, what's going on there? But I don't know if you noticed this, and the thank God the director points out the mistake in his film. There were 4 mummies chasing them, and only 3 die.
Oh.
When they get to the bridge, when they like stop.
Maybe that wasn't a mistake. Maybe there's just a mummy out here.
Well, now the way the movie is, there's just a mummy running wild.
Yeah, hey.
But when they stopped on the bridge,
Paying
there was a
taxes.
scene where the last mummy attacks,
Yeah.
and they like shoot it off the bridge.
Okay.
But I guess they were like, after that one hit the wall, they were like, all right, well, the momentum kind of died down. I think we're done with the scene. But now it leads to this flaw where
We
it's
gotta
like, well, now you have an
fix
extra
this.
mummy just out there.
Yeah.
But Alex is kidnapped. Everyone's getting kidnapped in this movie, left and right.
Yeah. Yes. Oh my God. Because yeah, it was Evie and now it's Alex.
And speaking of rough CGI, the Namun lady kissing the CGI mummy.
Oh, I put that. That's gross.
Her
I put that
lips-
in here. It's disgusting.
Her lips are like disappearing and blurry. And I'm
Yeah.
like, they weren't ready for this kind. They weren't ready for this. Had they waited like 2 or 3 years, maybe they could have made it work. But her
Yeah.
lips are like just disappearing.
Her and Imhotep again, like great chemistry, but like nasty. I didn't want
Yeah.
to see that. I also didn't want to see him kissing Evie in the first one. Like nasty.
No.
We don't need that.
And then, so then we get the mummy's wearing his outfit from the first movie, which I guess someone
Right.
just held on to, I guess.
Should have.
And he's talking to the boy, and he can speak English.
It is you who are the chosen one. You who will take me to Amshir.
I mean, he's the mummy.
Why not?
Magic.
But he introduces the ticking clock element.
Right.
The 7 days you're going to die when the sun hits the temple.
Right. And
Yeah.
oh, but before that,
Well,
our heartthrob threatens him, remember?
that's right. That's right.
She's like, oh, you're so smart. Your mom must miss you. And he's like, I don't listen to my parents. Why would I listen to you? And he's like, your mom wouldn't put poisonous snakes in your bed at night. And I'm like,
That was funny.
Yes.
That was funny. But then they throw in the 3 wacky henchmen from earlier just to get
Yeah.
eaten. And the
Yeah.
mummy's CGI.
And they mention the guy says like, like if you want us to open this chest, like you got to up the price because the Yanks, like he's meant to basically a throwback to the first movie that
Right,
the guys
right.
that died, you know,
Right.
which they got off pretty easy because the guys in the first movie got like hunted down. It was
but
like a lot
luckily
more
they were all
brutal.
contained in the
They were
cart.
all right in the room. Yeah.
So yeah, he eats all of them. I do like that. That's that real creepy CGI face where the mummy's like staring and he's kind of like half formed. I'm like, yeah, I don't. Something's that uncanny valley.
I
I'm like,
love
looks
that.
weird.
I mean, I don't like it when he's making out with people, but I love it.
So Rick runs into his old friend Izzy because they had to give Rick an old friend because they killed all his old friends in the previous
Oh
film.
my God.
They killed his drug pilot friend. They killed Benny. They killed everyone.
I
So,
have that. Izzy was funny, but I missed Winston. He deserved better.
Yes. I'm not into Izzy. I've never been into Izzy. I'm like, I feel like they were trying to give us like a different
Another
Benny.
person. I was gonna. He didn't even come off as Benny. Izzy kind of was just like a more obnoxious Jonathan to me.
I guess. Yeah, but we already had Jonathan. That
Exactly.
was like
So it was like we don't need.
Yeah.
Give us
Izzy-
Winston.
I don't know what they were going for.
Make
with
Winston
Izzy.
a mummy and have him drive us. You know.
Well, it leads to this bigger problem where now we're trying to recreate things from the first movie. So we've just done him trying to eat everyone, and now we're doing the aircraft. Only this time it is a very fake looking blimp. I'm sorry, dirigible. A CGI
I think
dirigible.
you're wrong now that I'm saying it. The fans will have to tell us.
What?
I think that Oded did tell him because I have a separate note saying that they tell him the bracelet will suck the life from him. That the mummy told him
I'm
that.
sure the mummy told him that.
We'll see.
We'll
No, the
find
mummy
out.
did tell him that, but I think Oded mentioned that he
Maybe
would.
they both.
in
Well, no,
7
because
days.
then they seem shocked at the end.
What? The
When
7 days?
the boy tells them what's going to happen, they seem shocked by it. So I don't think they know. But anyway, we'll
all
figure
right,
it
we'll
out.
see. Yeah.
Or maybe it's poor writing and they forgot.
We'll see. They say like he's kidnapped on the train, and they're like, "Oh, like I miss him." On Izzy's thing, and she's like, "Well, he's like, what does she say? He's smarter than you, and he's tougher than me." No, he's not.
But yeah,
not.
so the blimp looks fake as hell.
It does.
It looks so fake.
It does.
And speaking of fake, so they have a real train on camera,
Right.
but they put a digital city behind it. But
Okay.
they didn't have like a blue screen or anything.
Well, they put
So-
a digital city in the beginning too, right?
But
like
I
they have
swear,
the,
when this is happening, the guy's gun,
Mm.
because they had to like rotoscope and stuff, I think the tip of the guy's gun just disappears because it's like not perfectly rotoscoped.
I will have to rewatch that.
Because I'm looking at it, I'm like, oof, that is a rough background replacement.
Yeah.
Oh no.
I didn't notice that.
So resurrecting Ankh Sunamun triggers a flashback.
What did you say?
Ankh Sunamun. That's how they say it, right?
No.
How do they say it?
Okay, I was very proud of this for my entire life, and it's finally making a difference.
Okay.
No.
Okay. Okay.
Ah.
Ah.
Nuk.
Nuk.
Sun.
Sun.
Namun.
Namun.
Anak Sanamun.
Anak Sanamun. I know that's how he screams it at the end, but I feel like the rest
No,
of the
they
movie
say it the
says
whole
it my
movie.
way.
Anak
Okay.
Sanamun.
Okay, I'm gonna call her
And they say it in
Annie.
the first movie. I think.
She's Annie now.
So Annie. He's Are We There Yetting the hell out of everyone on the train. Oh, but he escapes. Yeah.
So resurrecting her, Evie now has a flashback
Right.
to where she is the Princess Nefertiti or Nefertiri. Nefertiri?
No, I think it was actually Nefertiti. Because I put in my
Nefertiri?
notes, I was like confused. I'm like, she doesn't look
Well,
like
there is an
Nefertiti.
ancient person called Nefertiti, but I think she might be Nefertiti.
No, I'm aware of that, but I'm like, she looks nothing like Nefertiti, unless it was like a popular name back then, like Madison, in like 84.
Well, they have the thing this movie's probably most memorable for, other than the digital rock coming up, the fighting dagger scene.
Yeah.
Which
So good.
Yeah, there we go. Chicks love this scene.
Oh, yeah.
And I think because at the time there were like, you either had for like a girl action scene, like a fight scene, you would have to like go to like a movie like Tomb Raider or
Yeah.
something where like
Yeah.
half the time they weren't even that good. So this is like a fun movie, and then they throw in like
especially with Evie, because like she's
Yeah.
not like super I don't know, like physical agile. She's not that character.
But-
so to see her kicking ass in that scene was
But
nice.
I can imagine being a young girl going to this like fun sequel, and there was like a little bit of chick fighting in the previous one, but like this is like a very extended, insanely choreographed fight scene. I can see how this could be really cool.
Right.
Also, do you chicks like it because she throws through daggers at a guy's crotch? The two statues. She
no, I
throws
didn't
the
even notice that.
She throws the daggers and it perfectly lands on the guy's crotch. I'm like, all right.
No, my main thing, like when they were fighting, wasn't even like, oh, they're so badass. It was like, I would love for both of them to just tell me what to do.
So she was the princess in her former life.
Correct.
And she's actually the
Namun
one.
was the
The bride-
patrol. She was betrothed
yes,
to the king,
the
right?
wife, yes. And actually, I thought it was pretty funny when I rewatched the first one, where like the guards are just there right away.
Yeah.
And this one they fix it. Where like she's the one who narked on them.
Yeah.
She's like, they're killing my dad. Go help him.
Yeah.
Like, okay.
Because she was watching from the opposite balcony, right?
Yes.
Oh, and yeah, that's when they share the vision. And
All right. So in the flashback, Namun
yes.
kills herself, but then it cuts to Patricia and the
Killing
present going,
herself in the
"Ugh."
spirit,
She
yeah.
does the funniest death beat
She
face.
just,
She goes, "Ugh."
Yeah.
Somehow, so she's resurrected now.
Yeah.
So Alex can make extremely detailed sand castles to leave breadcrumbs for his parents.
Yes.
And they're so detailed. I'm like,
Listen, this kid is smarter than her and tougher than.
that's true. That's true. I forgot.
So yeah, she kills herself, and
Yeah.
Evie is having the same vision at the time, and
Yes.
yeah, that brings back the actual Namun's.
Yes.
So what happens to the current day? Does she just like that was the end
Dead.
of her life?
Dead, I guess.
What if someone like years from now is like, but I loved her. I'm the new mummy and I need to bring her back. It's an endless cycle.
I don't know. When do they stop being reincarnated? Like,
I don't know.
Is Dracula and Mina, are they reincarnated like every other year?
How
How many Mina reincarnations were there until Dracula sought her out?
Yeah, right? I mean, look for another girl. at
And
that
yes.
point, you
Well,
know?
he did. He found 3 and then
You don't want them now.
they didn't do the fun stuff.
Yeah.
What? So
They did a lot of fun stuff with what's
Yeah.
his name? Okay.
So anyway, speaking of trying to top, this whole section feels like the first movie sped up because now we have to do the sand wall scene, but it can't be sand. It has to be really fake looking water. And I really thought, I know.
Is it any different than the first one with like Imhotep's face coming out of the
Yeah, it's literally just the
Oh.
sand scene, but with water.
Yeah, when they killed Winston.
Yes, but I don't know. So ILM did work on this. I don't know if they did the water scene because ILM, I thought at the time, should be able to do good CGI water because they did the Abyss and Liquid Metal and stuff, but the water looks so bad.
Yeah.
This is another thing. I remember at the time where I'm like, this isn't as good as the first with the face in the water and like
Yeah.
the bad CGI mountains. And I'm like,
No,
ugh.
I disagree because I think they made up for it with the jungle.
I guess the jungle's
The cursed
fine.
jungle was amazing.
But think about the sand wall. Like it
Pissed.
was digital, but like it looked like they shot on like a real environment and
Yeah.
added the sand wall. And I guess sand is easier to fake.
Yeah.
But like the water, it looked like Jello. It looked like Jello became sentient, and then like everything looked fake in the back. It looked like a video game. And this movie was packaged with a video game when it was
Was
released.
it?
Sometimes, so when the PS2 game come out, you could buy like the Mummy Returns.
Did you play it?
Yes. I remember I
How
had a
was it?
sleepover with friends. We played it, and you could play as the mummy and suck the soul out of people.
I wasn't one of those friends. He was mean to me in high school.
This was before high school. I didn't
Oh,
even know
okay.
you
Well,
existed
same
yet.
diff. Still, it needs to be known.
Okay, so 11-year-old Tony's gonna go to his mom
Yeah.
and be like, "Hey, there's like how much younger are you than me?
How old are you?
I'm 32.
31.
Okay. Hey mom.
Well, I'll be 31 in
Hey mom,
December.
I think somewhere out there's a 10-year-old girl. I gotta go stay at her house and play Mummy Returns
Yes.
till midnight.
Yes.
And my mom would have been like, "What the hell are you talking about? Girls don't talk to you, Tony." I'm like, "Oh shit, you're right." Except for the 10,000 that are related to you. Girls don't talk to you, Tony. Anyway. Well, I'm sorry. I'll hunt down a copy.
I accept your apology.
We can play Mummy Returns
Okay.
on the PS2.
I mean, I'm holding you. I'm not kidding. I'm holding you to it.
if I find a copy of the game, we will play it.
All right.
I've been trying to stream games compared to, related to the movies. I don't own this one, but
Like
I did
The Quarry.
well, when the Thing came out, when we did our Thing review, I did the Thing on PS2,
Oh,
and I was
nice.
going to
Okay.
do Hulk for the PS2, but then my internet went out.
Oh.
So until my internet's fixed.
Okay.
So yes, by the way, he's had a pet hawk this whole time. The dirigible crashes. Odette is like, let me send out Horus.
Horus, fly!
Right. The hawk is new because the hawk wasn't in the first one, right?
No. So he sends out Horus, who gets shot.
But he's
He is?
isn't he? Doesn't he come back?
I think he's dead.
Oh.
Because then Ardeth is like,
I thought he came back and gave him a warning.
No.
Am I remembering incorrectly?
I don't know. I think Ardeth is like, I gotta go warn the rest of the Magi. And he's like, no, you have to help me help my son first. He's like, okay, I'll get them afterwards. So they go into the jungle.
Right, but and we forgot he was telling Chris. He was telling Rick this whole time that he was like this this guardian.
You're a warrior.
Yeah.
You're a warrior. He's like, dude, shut up.
He's like, right.
By the way, when it cuts tonight, the bats used in the shot are the same CGI bats from Stephen Sommers. I don't have it here anymore. Stephen Sommers' Jungle Book. Remember the live action Jungle Book in the 90s?
I didn't watch it.
Stephen Sommers directed that, and they gave him these digital bats, and he literally recycled them. I'm gonna try. That's what he says in the commentary.
Can you Can you put a clip here? Like I'm
gonna try. I have because I have the live action Jungle Book on tape. I'm gonna see if I can find the same bats.
Yeah.
So actually, I forgot that he did that because it was like, oh yeah, he did a jungle adventure, I guess, before this.
Yeah.
So we get to the pygmies.
Yeah.
Which I think are offensive to real pygmies that aren't monkey sized.
Real pygmies?
Yeah, there's pygmies are real. They're not like this. Hold on. Before I get canceled. Because I think I'm right. Because I think the Congo government was trying to screw them over.
You're not talking. I hope you're not talking. You're not talking about little people.
But they're called.
Warwick Davis is not a pygmy.
Peoples of very short stature in equatorial Africa and parts of Southwest Asia.
Let me see a picture.
Pygmy, yeah, pygmy people. Yes.
Let me see. No way.
They're like in the Congo. They're just very short.
No, but that's not what they were going for.
No, that's what I'm saying.
Okay.
That's a naked person. I should probably.
You're sick.
Yeah, they're in Africa and Asia. And
Harassment. I
remember like there was a whole thing like the pygmies that lived in the Congo. They were like having an issue with the government. I have to look into it. But no, what I'm saying is this version of what they think pygmies are. I think it's pretty offensive because
I thought they were just
are not this big.
I thought it was supposed to be because that's always been like an herb, like with the whole like shrunken heads and like the.
I guess, but did they all get shrunk down after? They do have shrunken heads, but
they do.
And there actually was a race of hominids that actually were tiny.
I heard about that they discovered. Like,
they called them like they nicknamed them like hobbits or something. But
yeah,
it was like
they discovered them not too long ago, and it was like
I want to say like 10, 12 years ago they found, and they had like tools and stuff. They're like, oh shit.
Yeah.
But
they
anyway,
said they also had like a couple animals that were their size as well.
So pygmies are real, but they don't look like this in the movie. I don't know if the pygmies.
Damn,
in the Congo
everything's
have
offensive
seen
in
this
2020.
movie.
Cut it out, y'all. We can't even talk about pygmies.
I always wonder, like, if you were to show pygmies this movie, what would they do?
They wouldn't give a fuck.
They'd be like,
they wouldn't even identify. They'd be like, oh, cool, these small evil creatures.
One, they'd be like, dude, we're dealing with a lot of stuff right now. I don't care.
Right. First of all,
do you care about the representation of your people in there? They're like, I care if I'm going to eat tomorrow.
Right.
I really don't care about.
Can we get fresh water? No. Oh my God. Yeah, I don't think they were concerned.
The pygmies attack. There's a whole long grass sequence, which I guess they're trying to imitate Lost World.
I loved that scene. Yeah.
Yeah. Lost World, Jurassic Park, the Raptors in the long grass.
Was that already?
That was already out. But since it was released by Universal, no one got in trouble for ripping off
because it was theirs. Okay. Well, yeah, I loved that scene.
I love when like the main priest guy leaves the two behind. He's like, you have to sacrifice yourself for me.
Yeah.
You'll be rewarded in heaven.
The two of you must sacrifice yourselves for me. You shall be rewarded in heaven.
Yeah, he just runs away.
I'm just like, I say that to everyone on the show.
He does.
If a mummy were to come in right now, I'd be like, "Hey, Kira, you gotta handle this. I'll see you later. I'm sure you'll live a good life in heaven." I'm just leaving.
Listen, I'm smashing for survival.
Mr. Echo dies.
I'm gonna be the new Anck Cinnamon. Okay.
Yeah, that would be my luck. I'm like, all right, well. Then I'm like getting eaten. My eyes are being sucked out. I'm like, oh no, why? Mr. Echo dies.
You're right.
He gets into a fight with Ardeth. He finally gets killed.
Yes.
I do love that Jonathan and they set aside their differences. Jonathan and like the one bad guy are like running together.
Yeah.
And he's like, they won't pass on the holy ground. And then
But
one
then
comes and kills him.
he
He's
throws the arrow.
but I like he's not dead yet. And Jonathan goes, I'm really sorry about this.
I love Jonathan. Jonathan's dynamic with anyone, like his dynamic with the kid, his dynamic, like he's definitely like a good addition to any script.
So that's funny. And then I love when the pygmies are fighting over the dynamite and the one's like, yeah,
and it blows up. Yeah.
Apparently they're on the log from King Kong, the weird log bridge. Yeah, so this movie's been pretty ridiculous.
Yeah, but it was amazing.
But nothing is more ridiculous than this. And again, this is another thing the filmmakers make fun of themselves for.
Don't do it. What?
Rick outruns the speed of light. Because in movies, the sun never just lights up.
You're going too far ahead. Oh, no, that's fine. No, you're right.
So the kid's like, I'm going to die if I'm not in the temple by sunrise. And then the sun
and he's rising. Like, and the shadows are behind him, and he's just like,
and it's just a beam of light that's slowly chasing him. Like, that's not how light works.
That's how Brendan Fraser works. Okay? So don't question it.
The light chasing him as he's running. I'm like, what the hell are you talking about?
He's just carrying him.
So Alex is saved.
But Evie. That was the only time I was upset with her the whole movie, Namun.
Oh, no.
Yeah. She hurt my other boo. You know, we got to keep a healthy, open relationship. And she's like, you can't do that.
So the priest gets the amulet. He takes it from Alex. And he's the one who activates the pyramid.
Right.
Which then rips off his arm.
Yeah.
And
as he deserves.
For $1 billion movie, it's the fakest looking skeleton.
Hey, I thought it was cool when I was a kid, and rewatching it, I was like,
They really skimped on some of the effects here. I don't know.
Yeah.
Because they have to save their money for the big CGI dog army. For some reason, the Magi are in the desert, and they just know where this battle's gonna be.
I don't think they did have to save it for that, because they looked like dirt to me.
I did like the shadow that goes over the sand dunes, and if you look, it's little scorpions going back and forth.
Yeah.
But yeah, the army is formed of the Anubis warriors. And then yes, Alex decides he's gonna bring his mom back to life with the book.
And what's the line? Something, Amenephis.
Amenephis.
That's it. After Chakra Amenephis.
Yeah, that was the thing. It was like a callback to the first one where he's like, wait, I know that one.
Yeah, Jonathan, yeah.
I know that one.
Because last time he didn't know it, and then he learned it again this time.
I also love that, like, the kid was sadder than Jonathan. I mean, I know this is mom, but, like, Jonathan, how long? You've known Evie for so long. Yeah, he's just like, tough luck, kid. Oh, I'm sorry.
So yeah, he brings her back because she has to have a rematch.
Right.
Right,
she's got to beat her ass.
Because if you think, because you think they've only had like a few. I'm not counting her getting stabbed as a fight.
No, because she snuck up on her.
They fought in the previous movie.
Yeah.
And I guess the warriors.
But barely.
The warriors.
And also we didn't even see that it was a Namun in the previous movie. We knew, but we didn't see. And then we saw the flashback.
The fight in the flashbacks. Now we need to do one.
So she had to have her real, especially with the Namun saying in that scene, like, you're getting better. Like, I'll have to watch my back.
Yes.
Yeah.
So they're finally going to fight.
Yeah.
While that's happening, the mummy realizes, I like when the mummy gets there, he's like, Scorpion King, no problem. Yeah. I'll use my mummy powers. Yeah. He's like, oh, shit.
And they were like, psych.
He's like, Anubis, what the hell?
Yeah.
So he's trying to wake the Scorpion King up with the hammer.
Yeah. Oh, God. Yeah. Speaking of which, you said you were excited.
For The Rock.
For The Rock. And I that gave me a little giggle. I didn't say it out loud.
Yeah.
Because he was only in it in the beginning.
I know. Okay.
Because that CGI,
so I
even as a child, I knew.
So I have it here. I have so they fight for a bit, and then the Scorpion King awakes.
Right.
So as this is cutting back and forth.
Yeah.
It's actually kind of ripping off Phantom Menace, where we have a battle going on while 3 people are fighting, technically. Mm-hmm. They couldn't work in a space battle. I'm sure they had to see where Izzy was on a blimp fighting, but they couldn't work it in.
Yeah.
So yes, I remember the dogs come up, and I'm watching it today. I'm like, ooh, those CGI dogs have not aged well. And then immediately after
the
that,
rock comes out.
The rock comes out, and it's his
everything
face.
about him, even his chest. I was like,
I love the design of it. It's the execution.
He
it just
makes
was
this weird face at one point with the CGI. Thank you. That's exactly.
And then he does. They make him do the eyebrow one scene.
Yeah,
He's like,
it's so weird.
So he just shows up as a big scorpion monster, which I like, but it looks bad. But it's like, oh, is he? He's not. It's not the Rock.
No.
And he just growls. He talks.
Does he speak? Oh, he says one line, right, in Egyptian or something.
So Imhotep.
Because he says, "I'm your servant," right?
Imhotep learned from Benny. When there's a strong, powerful demon, you got to just be like, "Oh,
you submit."
I did like that callback.
Which is why I would sacrifice you if a mummy came in here, immediately submitting. Not me.
I did a whole thing in the previous episode. I'm like, be like Benny.
I'm pulling my Benny. I'm gonna start speaking different languages. What do you need, Bill?
So Jonathan has to fight the Scorpion King while everyone's fighting in the desert.
Yeah.
While Evie is fighting
Namun. Yes, I'm so proud of you.
I love the fake out. Well, two things I love. I love Imhotep abandoning the priest.
Yeah.
That gets cut into
and he's like, what?
He's like, help me.
I served you.
He's like, help
so
me. And he
hurt.
goes, why?
Yeah.
I love the fake out of the army being defeated, and then more of them come over the hill.
Because they were shook.
Yeah.
They were like, oh shit, thank God.
So, great series of coincidences.
Yeah.
The spear that Jonathan stole from the first one that they've been holding on to this whole time.
That's what they used to defeat the Scorpion King.
Which did the priest knew about the spear, because earlier in the movie he's like, it can't be. But Imhotep seemed to not know, and so
because
he
says in the movie, like, he thinks once he gets to a certain point, that was a line where he was like, I'll be so powerful that I won't need the spear.
Oh, okay.
And you're wrong.
So they made a note of it.
Yeah.
Well, at that point, he should have been like, hey, we got to go. I need to rethink this whole strategy.
Right.
Is the spear here? Do we know? Did they bring it?
Right.
Yeah, so there happens to be Anubis, God bless him. When he made this pyramid prison for the Scorpion King, he put instructions for how to kill the Scorpion King. So you have to have the tattoo and the spear.
Good looking Anubis, yeah.
Which the mummy did not have. So I feel like the mummy was destined to just lose from the beginning.
Right.
And you got to open up the spear, and then you got to spear the Scorpion King.
Right, because Rick or did Evie shout it? They were the ones that figured out how to open it.
Rick looked at the instructions and figured it out,
right.
while Alex and them are trying to figure out how to open it. While
Right, that's what it was.
Fighting.
Yeah,
Namun.
Yeah.
Yeah. So there's this big fight. The Scorpion King is kicking the shit out of Rick, and he's fighting the mummy on and off too. And then I love the whole thing. Jonathan goes to throw the spear, and the mummy catches it.
Yes.
And then we get slow motion spear. So Jesus Christ. So we have like a CGI spear flying on an actual set with fire. We have a digital Rick who's poorly
digital? I didn't even.
And then you have the CGI abomination that is the Scorpion King.
And that's when he does the face, right?
Yeah. And then the camera moves in and Rick's off frame, but then somehow Rick speeds up and then jumps again.
Yeah.
Last minute. Stabs the Scorpion King and he's like, go to hell and take your friends with you.
Yeah. But then they all kind of.
Because, like, do the Egyptians have hell? Isn't it a different name?
Yeah. I mean, well, they have a version of it.
What if he went to the...
I mean, the Scorpion King didn't understand anything Rick was saying, probably. They're all speaking English.
What if the Scorpion... Yeah, that's true. What if the Scorpion King ended up in, like, the Christian hell? Everyone would be real confused.
What do you mean? Oh, like if he just popped up?
If he didn't end up
with
in,
us?
whatever
We're going to hell if it exists.
Yeah. If, like, the Egyptian hell and he ends up in Christian hell.
What the fuck is this guy?
The devil's like, what the hell is that?
he's definitely stronger.
The devil's like, oh my
Lucifer.
God, it kind of looks like The Rock, but not really. Ah.
Is that Dwayne Johnson?
Oh, and he also says, send your army back to hell too. So now the Christian devil has all these dogs.
Right.
He's like,
and why is his army going? They were just serving what Anubis said. Anubis resurrected, well, not his actual army, but created them for him.
Yeah.
So why do they have to suffer? Because they were just, like, they weren't a part of this.
So then we get to the most heartbreaking scene. They're both hanging off a cliff. full of pit of souls, like Mortal Kombat.
Makes me so sad. I knew we were gonna come to this.
Rick is doing the noble thing where he's like, leave me, save yourself.
And Evie's like, hell no, I won't go.
And the mummy is just like, please help me.
And Anck says, Nye.
That's simp. More like
twice. Nye.
More like Simpotep. Am I right?
And she runs. And Simpotep.
And he's just like, oh no, my girlfriend left me. I'm gonna turn into a CGI dummy into a pit of
go.
It looks like he's having fun, by the way, when he's he's a CGI body
him.
And they're spinning him.
They're like, hey, this is Warped Tour. Let's go.
And he's just like, wee, this is fun.
That scene when I was younger made me like cry. I'm like, how could you?
I like that the mummy is not actually defeated this time. He's just like, son, I really like that girl. And I'm like, hey, I've been there, buddy.
Maybe you shouldn't have killed the bitch that was already simping for you.
And you know what? He did so much work for her. And of course, she didn't appreciate it, like a woman. It reminds me of the whole Eddie Murphy bit where he talks about like if he brings a girl from Africa and
but
changes
you
her
also
life.
have to consider the fact that she's been in hell a lot longer than he has.
But I think it's yeah, sure, you resurrected me like an hour ago, but what have you done for me lately?
Right, that too.
This whole Eddie Murphy bit about that.
Too.
His old stand-up. He does a whole stand-up. I think it was Eddie Murphy where he's like, I brought a girl back from Africa and I changed her life, and she'll still be like, but what have you done for me lately? So it doesn't work out for her though. She falls into
a pit of scorpions, right? Or was it scarabs?
I think it was the scarabs.
Yeah, it was a pit though. It was like a little crack, and she
does the wacky like whoa.
Yeah,
falls into a pit of scarabs.
She pulls a Lele Pons.
And then I have in my notes here, I don't know, the pyramid is a vacuum, I guess.
Because it starts sucking everything. The pygmies?
Oh yeah, the pygmies right.
You're like, oh wait.
So at the last minute, Izzy grabs them in his dirigible.
Right.
And Jonathan grabs the giant diamond, which leads to his wealth in the third movie.
Yeah, but doesn't Izzy try to take it?
No, he's
like, that's mine. Like, I'm getting a cut of that, right?
I don't know. He has a club in the next one, so
Is he?
Yeah, you ever see the third one?
Is that the one with the woman that is not Evie?
Yeah.
Well, I saw it, but I tried to forget it.
In the beginning, Jonathan has a club called Club Imhotep, so he made a club.
And when the son's all grown up, right?
Yes.
Was that the one when they were in China?
Yes, so Jet Li.
Yeah, I tried to forget that one.
Yeah.
I mean, it would have been great if not for like it not being Evie, and also like
that
if the son had like died.
That's too big of a character and too charismatic of a character to replace and then rewrite so drastically.
I agree.
I like Maria Bello, but
also like the son should have died, and it should have just been like Evie and Rick.
But then there's a happy ending, and Alan Silvestri does the music for this one. It was oh my god, Jerry Goldsmith in the first one. So Alan Silvestri, one of my favorite composers.
Okay.
And the music swells and the movie ends. And like I said, 11-year-old Tony was like, well, I thought The Rock would be in it more, but that was okay. And modern Tony, the question is this a good sequel? And my answer is, it was all right.
I think it was awesome. I also really got FOMO when I was younger, when the pyramids started, like, I don't know what the hell I thought, knowing it was a movie. But when the pyramids started sucking everything up, including the jungle, I'm like, oh, now I'll never get to see it.
So, I don't know. It is fun, but you are missing... Sorry, this story is very old. It's falling apart. The people who were fixing the roof of my house need to come here and fix this place.
Yeah.
It's missing the chemistry from Rick and Evie from the first one. I don't like happily. I don't like happily married Rick and Evie. I think
we still like the scene when they were in the house in the
too
library area. You like the banter.
I like the banter.
Okay, you like an unhealthy relationship.
Yes. I think other than Jonathan, you don't get too many fun side. Like it's hard to replace Benny.
Right.
But no one's as charismatic as like Benny or Winston or even like the Americans.
I need you to say it.
Huh?
I need you to say it.
Say what?
You're wearing the hat, so I need you to say it.
What, say it.
Say the line.
Looks like
do the roar.
Looks like I got all the horses.
Looks like I got on the wrong side of the river. Okay.
Anyway, you're missing those fun side characters. The new ones don't really do it for me. The first one was like a big effects film, and it's a little dated, but this one is way more dated effects wise.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I don't think you need to see this movie, but if you enjoy the first one, this doesn't hurt. It's just not as good.
I disagree. So I agree with that.
Yeah.
I think it was a great sequel, but I do think it could have had improvements. I do think there could have been better side characters. I think that the kids shouldn't have existed.
Yeah.
But Roe v. Wade. So I think that
it didn't exist yet. They didn't have a choice. And also they're not in America, so
mind your business.
I don't know the rules.
Evie's body, Evie's choice. I think that but it still had a lot of the same nostalgia and magic for me. And I would have liked it to go a little longer, and I would have liked it to I think if the kid wasn't in it, we would have gotten a lot more of their old dynamic.
Yeah.
If the bracelet had been on Evie instead of the child,
that would have been more fun. If the Scorpion King was more of a character, or at least wasn't introduced as such a. The thing is, they hype him up so much, and then he's just a CGI monster
for 60 seconds at the end.
Yeah, if they hadn't hyped him up so much in the beginning, if they just said the sky turned into a scorpion and you got to fight him, it's cool. But instead, they show him they show The Rock, who was huge at the time, and it's just this is his first big movie, and then you're oh. And like I said, it was his
first big movie.
Yes.
The first movie I remember seeing him in is The Rundown. Oh.
Which was afterwards. But then they tried to franchise it. They started the cartoon, the rides. They did the Scorpion King movie where he's the hero, which was bizarre off the bat.
Right.
But it's
weird that was a spin-off when they made him somewhat of a villain, and I'm but he's in this he's a good guy.
We have a phrase for these kind of movies that aren't as bad as people say they are,
right,
but also aren't great. The phrase is fine and fun, fun and fine. I think this movie is fine and fun. I only ever really put it on if I want to do a marathon, it's just the first and second one. Mm-hmm. And I did see the third one, and I told a story about that in the first one. I never rewatched that.
Oh yeah, no, I totally watch it standalone.
This?
Yeah.
No.
Also, look at him. Look at all of them. Look at all of them.
That's a good looking cast.
In their prime, but also he is still in his prime.
Yeah.
He will always be in his prime.
If you like mummies, if you want to see mummies played by very attractive men, you go to Mummy Cop on YouTube. I'm sorry, what? Mummy Cop on YouTube. Mummy Cop the series. It's my old web series. We did 2 seasons, and I think I play a pretty good mummy in it. I think it's the best mummy thing. It's the Mummy. But no, it's Mummy Cop. That's the best. And then you have The Mummy with Boris Karloff, obviously.
Okay.
Ever see that one? That's good.
No.
There's black Egyptians in that one. They're played by white guys.
Why are you pointing that out to me, Tony?
Because we were talking about it earlier that there weren't enough in this one. But there is a flashback, and I'm oh, there they are. And then it's oh, they're all white. Oops. The 30s. Oh, God, are you stuck?
My hair got stuck.
And then it's The Mummy.
Right.
And then The Mummy Returns.
Yeah.
And that's it. You can stop there.
Am I going to get injured every time I come on here? I lost a fang.
And yes, like I said, we will return at some point to do the worst Scorpion King movie. So you've only seen the first one, right?
I have seen the first one, and at the end of the first one, they had previews for, which is interesting. I guess they already made it. They had previews for the second one, which I was not interested in seeing.
Wait, the second Scorpion King?
Yeah. It was in I think it was in maybe it was in the...
No, because the second
because I had the DVD. So maybe that was a portion
they
of
probably
the
added it later
edition.
in the DVD. Yeah, because I was going to say, there was a gap between there.
Yeah.
But yes, do you like The Mummy Returns? Is it a good sequel to you? Or do you think it's just fine?
Do you like The Mummy Returns, or are you wrong?
Or do you hate the movie? Do you hate the CGI rock? I try to defend the CGI Hulk from the 2003 movie. I don't think it's as bad as people say it is. I defended it. This I cannot defend. So that is it from us. Thank you for watching. Poor Johanna couldn't make it. Maybe
because of their fireworks.
I'm gonna try and do some magic. Maybe we can resurrect her after this, and I hope she'll look like a normal person and not a poorly CGI monster.
I mean, you missed the 172 year mark, but maybe you can check out the temple, see what you can do.
So if you're listening to the audio version, I've been doing voicemails. I mean, I forgot to do it for a few episodes, but I got a little busy. But we are doing more voicemail segments, so stick around for that. Subscribe on Patreon. if Johanna is alive, I will be doing a commentary track with her for this movie because she didn't get
Teespring going.
Huh?
How's Teespring going? You know, like that.
Teespring. I'm looking into other online merch stores because Teespring, I'm done with them. I'm done with them taking down designs for no reason. It's a whole thing.
Yeah.
I mean, it's still there if you want to buy some stuff. It's just I'm looking into a more reliable one. And yeah, that's it. Where can we find you, Kira?
You can find me on Instagram at kira.mortis.
Okay. And that is it from us. Goodbye, everyone. Now that I have the Amulet of Horus, I can bring Johanna back to life so we can do a Mummy Returns commentary track for Patreon. Here we go. Blah, 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 blah. Oh my god! What the hell is that?
We are waiting for the Dark Souls of fighting games. Let us have it. We're ready.
Soul Edge has nothing on a lightsaber. Like, I'm sorry.
James Earl Jones comes back.
No!
Oh no! Oh!
I don't think kids trade games anymore. I need that sense of accomplishment, and it wasn't there. And I think that was a major flaw.
The way they engineer these is just phenomenal.
As much as you're into like the comics, I was very into the toys, so I was on like the message board all the time.
Remember to like, comment, and subscribe. Check out our other videos and Patreon page.
Talking about tapes.